4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42 is not a valid password. Please enter a valid password. Welcome to Lost All Caps. I've been sitting on that one for a while.
I was going to say, I was trying to figure out the relevance to the episode. Is it just
no relevance? I just thought of it and it made me giggle.
I mean, it's good.
Thank you. Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
I hope you all had a lovely festive season and new year. And here we are in 2026.
Yeah.
Madness.
Happy 2026.
Happy 2026, people.
Isn't that crazy? Not a real year. I know we said that last year, but also like...
It wasn't though, was it? 2025 wasn't a real year.
Low key. I mean, it was kind of a real year.
Tell me one thing that happened in 2025. You can't do it.
We started series 2 of the podcast.
That's a good point. We did, yeah.
Are you excited for 2026, Ariel?
I am. Are you?
I am, yeah. I'm graduating this year, so that's exciting.
Huge.
Do
you have a New Year's resolution?
I don't know.
I think my New Year's resolution is gonna be to learn how to swallow pills because it's getting to the point.
It's getting ridiculous.
It's embarrassing now. I am 23 years of age.
Yeah,
and I
also
still
can't.
use Calpol. Like, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Did I ever tell you this? I was at the pharmacy buying liquid medicine and the woman behind the counter was like, make sure they take it with the meal. And I was like, really confused. And I was like,
Who's
what?
they?
I was like, who's they? What's going on? And then after I left the shop, I went, oh my God, she thinks it's for my child.
Yeah, or like for a child.
She thinks it's for my child. I'm old enough now that I could have a child
to be giving Calpol
to be giving Calpol to, but I'm giving it to myself.
Yeah.
You know that whole thing where it's like, men don't want kids because if you have a baby, you can't be the baby?
Yeah.
I'm the baby.
I really, I can't, yeah, I've been ID'd more frequently buying Calpol than, for alcohol. I mean, that's because I don't really buy alcohol.
I was going to say, you never have.
It's it's so funny.
Are you wearing this when you're being ID'd?
Yeah.
It's I really don't believe you. This doesn't look fake, but...
But yeah, no, we do need to learn to swallow pills, really. The
do.
weird thing is that neither of us can do it.
Not weird. It's a failing on our parents' part. Imagine trying to explain to someone something that you just take for granted as, second nature, you know?
I guess it's when you have, little kids and you have to, explain to them what, a spoon is.
Mm.
And, how you use a spoon, and it's well, you just use it to eat.
Yeah. But they don't have a concept of... They don't know a thing about a damn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a similar principle. It's just just swallow the pill.
Yeah. Just swallow it.
And I'm like, well, that's... why didn't I think of that?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good New Year's resolution. It's a good one.
Well,
I don't really have
I'll check in with you guys on how well it goes.
Yeah, we'll update you. Mm-hmm. If Ariel swallows a pill, we'll let you know.
It's going to be a huge achievement. Oh, speaking of big achievements and big news
for 2026, this is way more important.
We have a very, very, very exciting announcement for all of you. So as you know, this is episode 40. So we're, of course, approaching 42. But we are also approaching our 50th episode of the podcast, which we're hugely excited about. I mean, thank you all so much for supporting us and helping us get this far. Because we've had so much fun making this. And, it's been amazing to sort of share it all with all of you. And I'm really excited that we're about to reach this milestone. And even more excitingly than that... The 50th episode of Lost All Caps is going to be live. I know! So exciting. So we're going to be doing a live event at a local independent cinema called Cultplex in Manchester. And we're basically going to screen the episode that we'll be talking about and then talk about it. Live on stage, in front of a live studio audience. Not a studio audience, a theatre audience, a cinema audience. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited.
Fun. And it's a really... Are we allowed to say what episode it is? Because it's a
Maybe.
really good one.
I don't know, shall we?
Well, why don't we just leave it there?
Should we reveal it?
And then you guys can count ahead if you want to. But it's going to be a really good episode to, screen and to discuss.
Yeah.
And, yeah... So
It's happening on the 30th of May.
mark the date, guys.
Write it down
there.
in your calendars now. Hopefully by the time we release this, tickets will be on sale.
Yes.
And
so
they'll be
check
available.
the bio of this episode.
The bio, our link tree, it'll definitely be on there.
Yeah.
If not, we will make a post on all of our social medias. Excuse me, this is important.
Sorry, I dropped my pencil.
We will make a post on all our social medias announcing when the tickets go live, and so you can book then. So keep an eye out.
Yes, we're so excited. It's going to be amazing. We can't wait, and we would love to see you there.
We would! Okay, now on to business, shall we?
Let's jump into the episode, shall we?
Let's bring the energy down. Okay, so fire plus water is what we're talking about today. You all have gone away and done your homework, I assume, and watched this episode. How are we feeling, team? Because
Ariel really hates this episode.
I do really hate this episode, I do. But here's the thing. So this is our third time watching it.
Yes.
First time, confusion and rage were my two main emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Second time, pure rage, I would say, because it's like I knew what was coming, and I was like, "Fucking hell!" It's the forced baptism episode.
Yeah,
screaming and crying. This time, I think I went into it with a bit more of an open mind. At the very least, I was able to find some things in this episode as I was watching it this time around that kind of made me feel a bit better about it in terms of not a justification, but like a kind of evidence within the episode to kind of understand Charlie's behaviour, and also to try and I kind of analysed my own response to it a bit more.
Right.
Which, I mean, I can get into it right now if you want. But I feel like we haven't even heard your opinions.
Uh-huh. Is that my prompt to say my opinions?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like this time around it definitely didn't feel like it came out of nowhere as much as it did before. I will elaborate, obviously, later on.
Yes.
These
are opening thoughts.
Like, that's my kind of opening thing, is I think, like, if you look at it just from Charlie's perspective, or, like, not from Charlie's perspective, but, like, as just an episode about Charlie, it makes sense, sort of. I feel like that's a really weird place to start the episode, because we've both gone, but we'll say more later. So why don't we say more right now?
Okay. That was like the pre-title sequence to kind of get you into it, and then now it's the actual episode. Okay, let me just say my philosophy.
Wait, hang on. First of all, we should probably say we're going to be discussing, like, addiction and probably, like, psychosis and things like that as part of the episode.
And, like, you know, the endangerment of a baby's life.
And also religious
forced baptism. So this was my mentality when I was watching it this time around. I really sort of zeroed in on when Charlie is speaking to Locke and he says... Locke saying something like, "Are you using again?" And he goes, "Kate sees a horse in the jungle. Almost everyone's seen Walt running around, but when Charlie has a crazy dream, it must be the heroine." Yeah. Right? That's essentially what he says. And I was like, okay. And I kind of thought about it a bit. And I was like, do you know what? Let's analyse my response to this episode a bit, shall we?
Go on, do tell.
Within that kind of framework and how people are treating Charlie on the island. So in terms of dreams... what have we had? We've had Claire had a few dreams that she wrote about in her diary, and then we saw one, didn't we? And it was all about her losing her baby, kind of, and the blood in the cot, and then John was there.
Psychic and...
Yeah. We've had John. He had a prophetic dream about finding the plane and causing Boone's death, didn't he? We've had Hurley dreaming about eating all of the food in the hatch.
And seeing Jin.
I believe that's all of them.
Yeah, and then we've had, like, the hallucinations and stuff.
Yes. So obviously I think he mentions the horse and Walt. those are in a separate category to me. Because
Yeah.
Charlie hasn't actually had a hallucination.
No, he's just having weird dreams.
He's just having the weird dreams. So I'm sort of thinking about the dreams, and I'm like, so when I really like Deus Ex Machina as an episode, and I love Raised by Another as an episode, but to focus in on Deus Ex Machina as an example, right? John, in that episode, John's having a bit of a crisis of faith, and like, you know, he can't open the hatch, and then he loses feeling in his legs again, right? And he keeps like stumbling and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like he thinks the island is taking away the quote unquote gift that it gave him of being able to walk and all of these things. And he has this dream, and he's like, we have to follow it, we have to find the plane. And he does, and he ultimately causes Boone's death through that.
Because he's so, like, desperate to do what the island wants him to do.
Yes. Is that...
Not exactly what Charlie does.
Like, there's a very clear parallel to what John does in that episode and what Charlie does in this episode, and yet I have such different reactions to them.
Absolutely. This is what I was saying when I said, like, the wider implications.
Yes.
Because it's like, what if we take these dreams as, like, island significant dreams?
Yes.
What did the island want him to do?
Exactly. What was the purpose of these dreams?
Because, like, why... This is the thing. Because also I think the reason why the dreams are so heavily Catholic is because of Charlie,
right?
Absolutely.
Yes, because it's his subconscious. That's how dreams work in real life, right?
Yeah.
We interpret things through our own memories and our own life experiences and predispositions.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, let's talk about the dreams. So the first dream is Christmas at the Pace's house. This one is fascinating.
The main takeaway from this one is the accents.
Terrible Mancunian accents from that
Horrific.
mother.
You have to save the baby, Charlie.
Can you get us out of here, Charlie? Yeah. So, right out of it, like, the first shot of this dream is like a Jesus tapestry on the wall.
Yes.
So immediately what we're learning is that his household was very religious.
Yes.
What we learn from this also is that his family put a lot of pressure on him.
Yes.
So, like, even if... So this... Crucially, this is not a flashback. It's a dream.
It's a dream.
So it might not be that his mum actually said those things to him. But what we know is that that's how Charlie looks back on his childhood.
Yeah.
He thinks of his childhood as being like, my mum wanted me to use my music to save her, whatever.
Yeah.
The dad, we don't see his dad's face.
I
which
noticed
think
that
is
too,
significant.
which I quite liked. It was framed in a quite scary way, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." You know, all the blood and from the cleaver, and him pointing at the thing, and then he was chopping up the baby dolls. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh wow, this is kind of spooky shit."
So, like, that's quite scary. We know, obviously, then what we can assume from that is that he was much more connected to his mum than his dad. That his dad was like,
daddy issues.
You need to learn a trade. You can't go off with your music. Also, that kid, brilliantly cast, because he looks a lot like Don Monahan.
I think he's great, actually.
He's great, that little boy.
Yeah. Although he does have a bit of a dodgy accent, but he's probably American, I'd assume. Or Hawaiian.
Probably. What's interesting about this is that the dream then transitions into the first island dream. So that's like the same dream sequence.
Same dream, yeah.
Where
he's then
Charlie's playing the piano on the beach.
Yeah.
And then Aaron is inside the piano.
He's trapped.
And he can't get Aaron out of the piano, and then the piano gets washed out to sea.
Yes.
So, let's unpack this.
Let's do our psychoanalysis.
Let's do some Freudian analysis of Charlie's dreams. Obviously, he has a lot of guilt about his, like, family and his career and, like, his drug addiction.
And Catholic guilt.
We know this. This is established fact. We know this from the Moth.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And we know, like, from the rest of the episode, from the flashbacks, that this then also ties into his niece, right? So, like, babies are then brought into the equation.
I wrote this down, and it sounds like such a stupid note, but it was a huge actual realization for me when I was watching this episode. It's all about family.
Yeah.
It's all about family. I never really connected the dots before between Charlie, his brother, his niece, his mum, his dad, and Claire and Aaron. It's like he comes from this kind of fractured family, and then him meeting Claire, having a bit of a crush on her, and her also being a single mother, he sees that as an opportunity to have a new family.
Yeah.
And
I think also that, like, and to not mess it up.
yes.
Like, I think it's, like, the thing is, it's a joke, the line, but I really think the line, if I can, like, kick heroin, I can do this, is weirdly quite important to Charlie's character arc. Because I think, like, what we see from Liam in this episode is that it's like he was so, like, messed up by his addiction that he missed the birth of his daughter and that he wasn't present when she was a baby, and then he quits the band and stops taking drugs because of her. That I think there is a connection there, at least in Charlie's mind, that he's going, this is like, it's giving him almost a reason to stay sober, right? Because when we first meet Charlie, he doesn't have a lot going on in his life, you know?
No.
The band has broken up. Liam lives in Australia. He obviously never sees him.
Yeah.
I assume there's an implication that his parents are dead.
Is there?
Well, the fact that they're like,
Oh, the
named
mum's
the baby
definitely
Helen
dead.
after mum.
Yeah,
She's,
Megan.
I assume, dead.
Yeah.
Megan, yeah, not Helen. Helen's John's girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. Leela.
Name the baby Leela.
Name the baby Leela.
So Charlie, take it. Sorry. So that, like, Charlie has nothing going on in his life, and crucially, not many of them do.
That's kind of the
They're
point
all
of
really
the
lonely.
show.
That's like what, and they've all been brought together by the plane crash. So I think, like, he's seen this as like he has a reason to get sober because now he has, like, a family to look after. And Claire's gone like, whoa,
This is the issue.
I think it's like Charlie's really built it up in his head
Yes.
as like, this is a huge deal. This is my second chance at life.
Yeah.
And Claire is like, let's just take a deep breath.
He's like fantasizing about their wedding and their house together, and he's like drawing little love hearts in his notebook, and she's like, hey, we met 30 days ago. Like, I really like the line in this episode where she goes, there was no before, we were strangers and then we were in a plane crash. It's like, yeah, diva,
Yeah.
consult her before deciding she's your wife.
This
Maybe.
is the thing. This is the crucial issue with Charlie, is that it's like, he has, in his head, things are so different to how they are in real life, you know?
Yes.
And it's like, I think he keeps being like, why would you do this to me, Claire? And she's like, what? You need to fill me in on it's the whole, like, I don't remember marrying him. It's like,
Yeah.
he's built it up in his head as a completely different situation to what it is. And, like, in it, you can definitely see why. But I think it doesn't make the way he behaves, it doesn't excuse it.
No.
It explains it, but it doesn't excuse it.
Yes, and I think it's like, we are obviously kind of seeing it all from Claire's perspective in that we are external viewers as well, but then via the flashbacks, we get some of Charlie's perspective and his psyche and try and get an insight into his view on this. So there's a kind of balance, but I still...
Balance
Yeah.
is a strong... I feel like it rather than, like, equal weight on both sides of the seesaw, what it is that it's like slamming loads of weight on one end of the seesaw and then slamming loads of weight on the other end of the
seesaw's
seesaw.
doing this.
And then slamming... it's like we're going up and down and up and down and up and down. It's very hard to keep up with. It's... Yeah, I think...
But let's talk about the second dream as well. So we talked about the first dream. Let's talk about the second dream.
Second dream is
something.
So Charlie's on the beach.
Yeah. Playing his guitar.
Once again, we've got the immediate music connection.
Yeah, and I also really like that the transition into that scene is the music. So you hear a snippet of what he's playing before you see him, and that makes you, as a viewer, you don't think it's a dream immediately.
Feels more real,
It feels like it's real. And then it's like there's no one on the beach.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, so
Aaron is in the
Keeps going.
cot floating in the ocean.
Yeah.
Now, my first issue with this is a very mundane issue, and it's like, once again, take off your damn jeans. But also, if it's a dream, you're not taking any clothes off. Like,
Yeah.
if it was a dream, he would either just get in the ocean in all of his clothes and it wouldn't be an issue, or he would, like, suddenly be naked. There's no... And I know it's because we're not supposed to know the dream, but I was like, come on.
It's funny because people usually use the phrase dream logic to be like, oh, things don't make sense. But it's like, there's a certain logic in dreams that you haven't applied to this scenario.
Yeah.
Where's the dream logic?
Where's the dream logic? It's like it's too normal, in a way.
Yeah. And then
it becomes the opposite of normal. Because what we then have is Virgin Mary Claire.
Yeah.
Now, listen. I can see the connection.
And did she serve in that outfit? Yeah.
Yes. You know, she's pregnant and she's on her own, and the baby belongs to all of them, and also for some reason all the Mary statues that Echo's village painted are blonde. Maybe this is why. I kept being like, why? I feel like she's never blonde.
Yeah, maybe
But
this
is she
is
blonde
why.
because she's supposed to look like Claire?
It was all a setup to this.
and also Charlie's mum is there.
Yeah.
And also Hurley is there.
I completely forgot Hurley.
So did I.
Popped in the
Jesus,
Bible get-up.
Hurley.
Hey, man. Greatly enjoyed that.
Hilarious. So they're saying you have to save the baby.
To save the baby, Charlie.
Save the baby, Charlie.
Have to save the baby, Charlie.
And among other things.
You have to save him, yeah. And then I do like the plane noise of crashing and then it turns into a dove. I enjoyed that.
That's very cool.
That was cool.
And now the thing is, from that dream to the conversation with Echo, I fear you can't be mad at Charlie for assuming the implications of that dream.
This is the thing. This is what it's hard to get to grips with. Why is that? Crucially, my biggest question with this episode as a whole is why?
Yeah.
Why any of it? Why did the island give Charlie this message? Why did the writers decide this is what we need as an episode in the show?
Also, a very important thing is that he wakes up and he's sleepwalk kidnapped Aaron.
Yes.
Now...
That's hugely important, yes.
Hugely important. So, first of all, no one in camp noticed that he was sleepwalking around picking up the baby.
Apparently not.
But okay, let's just skirt over that. I understand it's for the story or whatever. But yeah, so... That's scary. You know? From Charlie's perspective, that's very scary.
From Claire's perspective, it's scary. From Charlie's perspective, it's scary from everyone in the camp's perspective, because it's like the last time we had sleepwalking was Claire, right?
Yeah.
Having her terrible dream and screaming and panicking so much that she digs her fingernails into her hand so much that she draws blood. Like, these nightmares are no joke.
And here's the thing also, and now I'm not suggesting that this is the implication of this episode. Genuinely not. But it's an interesting comparison to draw, is that also the reason why Claire was having those nightmares is because Ethan was there and he was like injecting her with shit. Like she was waking up and being like, there's someone grabbing me.
Yes.
So like, that's not what happens in this episode.
No.
But like, if you were in the camp, would you not be like, well, what if
What
if it's the others trying to get... Because they kidnapped Charlie, like that,
Yeah.
you know.
They might have put, like, something in him that was, like, laying dormant, and now it's resurfacing.
Absolutely they could have. We don't know what they did to him. I mean, he nearly died.
Yeah.
Like, he could be some kind of sleeper agent that's going to kidnap Aaron and walk into the woods with him.
Oh my god, I never even thought about that. He's an other sleeper agent.
He's been corrupted.
Oh my god.
And
He's
that's
been
never
activated.
even, like, floated.
No. Why did they never suggest that on the island? That Charlie's an other sleeper agent? I mean, it's so obvious.
But also, I fear I would assume that. But yeah, so this is the thing, is it's like, so, okay. So let's return to the Deus Ex Machina comparison.
Yes.
When the island... So the comparison is very similar. Like, if we say that the gift that the island gave John was the ability to walk.
Yeah.
The gift that the island gave Charlie was the opportunity to become sober.
Yes.
And also the opportunity to have a family. But I think that's Charlie pursuing that connection.
Mm-hmm.
So this is very similar in that he's having the weird dreams and then the gifts are being taken away. So in Deus Ex Machina, what do we think the island was trying to tell John with that dream?
How to open the hatch.
But was it?
Yeah, because it showed him the plane.
But, like, did the plane actually directly connect to opening the hatch, is the thing. Because it's like, yes, plane crash, Boone dies, John slamming on the thing, like, the light comes on. But, like, actually, they don't open, like, they knew about the dynamite before.
Yeah.
You know, because Saeed knew about that from Danielle, and that happens before Boone dies.
Yes.
So, like, they could have just blown up the hatch immediately.
Maybe the island was then trying to tell John to tell the others about the hatch as a way to open it, because the reason they didn't blow it open with dynamite beforehand was because he refused
John
to
didn't
tell
tell
anyone
anyone.
about it.
And this is that also, like, there's the whole thing of, like, if he'd actually told Jack what happened, maybe Boone would have survived because he would have treated him differently.
Live together, die alone.
Live together, die alone. Maybe it was that was the message.
Could that be the message that the island is trying to send in these dreams? I don't know, because it feels like Charlie...
Also, the thing is that the island gave John some of, like, Boone's backstory in the dream.
Yeah.
With, like, the story about Teresa, right? And that was, like, a proof he was having the crazy dreams or whatever.
The proof that the dreams were not just dreams. Like, they were dreams, but there was something unexplainable in them that the only possible explanation is island magic.
Or, like, higher intervention of some kind.
Something supernatural.
The fact that that's not present in these dreams maybe suggests that there's a different explanation. But the thing is, it's like, it feels cheap to explain away all of Charlie's behaviour by being like, it's like a psychotic episode, or it's because of heroin withdrawal, or it's like because of his situation. It's like, yes, if you look at his situation, it's like he's under a lot of stress, he's been in a plane crash, he's going through heroin withdrawals, he's also had, like...
He nearly died, he killed a man.
He nearly died, he killed a man, he's, like, had all this stuff be brought back up by Echo, and, like, his guilt and his Catholic guilt. So, like, it would make sense if he then is just going through a mental health episode. But it's like, it feels like in the nature of the island, it cannot just be him having, like, a break, you know?
Yeah. And I guess, like, that's kind of what this show does, right? It asks the question a lot, what is real and what is not? What is in our heads? Think about the button.
Winnie the Pooh. It asks the question a lot. Now, what is real and what is not?
Oh my god.
Is it true or is it not the what is which and which is what?
I'm a poet and I didn't even know I was rhyming those words, but it happened anyway. Think about the button, right? We keep pushing the button. Is it real? Is it not? We're constantly having to ask this question every 108 minutes. So, like, to be like, is it... And I'm not trying to say, oh my gosh, I'm not trying to suggest that, like, so a psychotic breakdown is not real. What I mean is it something that is supernatural, or is it something that is natural within, like, you know, just his physiology and psyche and everything like that?
And it's very difficult to, like, understand. Because also the thing is, like, nobody listens to Charlie across this episode. And this makes me really mad, because this, like, without giving away too many details, this kind of continues to happen over the rest of the series.
Yeah.
Is that, like, Charlie... Everyone's like, oh, well, I know what's going on with Charlie. He was on drugs. And it's like, has anyone asked Charlie how he's doing?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And, like, I think, like...
He makes a very valid point when he's like, oh, so Kate sees the cause, but for me it must be the drugs.
But for me it must be. And it's like, he tells Echo. I don't remember if he tells Echo, like, the details of the dream.
He mentions some key details, enough for Echo to be like, this is a vision.
Yeah.
This is a Bible vision. Especially the dove thing.
Yeah. Because then Echo talks about, he says something about birds.
Yeah.
I didn't write it down. All I wrote down was shut the hell up, Mr. Coincidence versus Fate. Because I was like, you're making it worse.
Yes. But then it's like, okay, Echo does make it worse. But then later on, he's like, this is not the way.
Yeah, this is the thing. Echo is on his own spiritual journey. Because first of all, why is he drawing on the trees? But, like, Echo, he's making the situation... Because, of course, in Echo's position, you're going to assume this is a vision. Because, like, you just found your dead brother on an island.
Yeah.
So, like, of course, Echo is going to think this is really important. And also, Echo is going to know that, like, this is important to Charlie also. Because, like, he gains the context incredibly quickly in the 23rd Psalm about, like, Charlie's addiction and all of that and how important it is. And so it's like... Yes, if I was Echo, I would be like, this is important, this is a vision.
But it is very, I know you said it offhandedly, it is very coincidence or fate, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know?
Very much, actually.
He's pushing the fate narrative when really...
It could just be...
I mean, nothing. I think it is, right? Because the kind of conclusion of this episode is just a bit like, Jack going to Charlie, don't ever do that again.
Yeah,
and him being
this
like,
is
I won't.
The thing that pisses me off about this episode is that there's no real kind of resolution to it. There's no like with Deus Ex Machina, it's like, yeah, John fucked up because now Boone's gonna die.
And also, we have the light coming on from
and
the hatch.
Also,
so
the
like,
light
did he
comes
fuck
on
up? Because look at what's happened.
But it's like, there's no real resolution to this. And it's like, yeah, okay, it's sweet that Claire and Aaron get baptised together. But also, like, that's also a bit weird, I find. Because that's like, what...
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that's just, like, but, like, Claire's not a Christian.
No, but obviously she's had the fear of God put in her, quite literally.
I mean,
by
yes.
Charlie. If a man started screaming at you, we need to baptise the baby, otherwise he's gonna die, he's in danger, he's in mortal danger, you'd be like, fuck, well, maybe I should.
Oh, get away from my baby because you're dangerous and I'm not gonna listen to anything you say, but by the way, you are right, though, I am gonna get baptised. Like...
I think it's she's hedging her bets. She's hedging her bets, Velvet.
And, like, of course, you know, hedge your bets all you want, Claire. But it is like, so what angle are you taking? Are you saying that Charlie's making things up, or are you saying that he's right and you do need to baptise your baby because you did baptise your baby?
Yeah.
And, like, Echo doesn't give a straight answer either way.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
It's just like,
it's frustrating.
It's so frustrating, and it's also like Charlie is trying to make himself not sound crazy. Like, when he talks to John, and he's like, I'm not crazy, it's nothing. I'm like, don't tell John exactly what happened in the dream, because then John's going to be on your side.
The thing is, think about Series 1 John. He would absolutely be on Charlie's side. But now, John has this weird personal involvement in all of this, because he's been getting closer to Claire and Aaron.
John is acting very out of character in this episode, also, yes. I feel.
Yes, completely.
Because he's suddenly like, oh, you need to calm down, Charlie. I'm like, what happened to, like, mystical visions, Grandpa?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It seems like he had the moth with Charlie, and then kind of went... Job done. Let me just wash my hands of this. Charlie's completely recovered now. I did a great job mentoring him.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, Diva, that is not what happened.
And
that's not how addiction and recovery works.
John then, like, finds out that Charlie's keeping the statue, and he's like, wow, didn't know you were doing drugs again.
Yeah.
And it's like...
oh, I gave you your choice. Now I'm taking that choice from you. What?
What? That is not what John... He wouldn't say that.
He wouldn't fucking say that.
John is behaving so ridiculously out of character in
Which
this
is why I'm like,
episode.
it must be because he has a personal involvement.
And, like, yes, I understand that, like, you know, he thinks that, like, it's dangerous to then have Charlie around Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, sure, but you can be nice to him about it, you know? It's like, oh, this guy, we're worried that he's relapsing on his drug addiction. Why don't we all be mean to him and isolate him and make him feel even worse about himself? That'll fix the problem. He's obviously going to go and take drugs. Like, come on,
yeah,
guys.
but you have to look at it from their perspective. Like, I think...
Don't get me wrong, everything Claire does is completely justified.
Everything Claire does is justified. But also, like... What I was trying to get at when I was comparing this episode to Deus Ex Machina, and I was trying to think, like, okay, so why is my reaction so different? And I think it's because what John does is awful, because he endangers Boone's life. He kills him.
He kills Boone.
What Charlie does endangers the lives of every single person at that camp, because if that fire had spread and they had not been able to put it out, Any number of them could have died.
I mean, setting the fire is a crazy choice.
And also, he endangers the life of a baby.
Yeah. The end goal, I truly don't know what he was trying to achieve with that.
No. It's the actions that he takes after. Like, we can debate whether the dream is a sign or not, and whether we as viewers view it as a sign or not, depending on our own biases towards Charlie as a character, towards John as a character, towards his addiction, towards all of these things. But the actions that Charlie takes after interpreting the dream as a vision, as a message, as a quest, are so drastic and so... They go to an extent that makes me have an adverse reaction to him as a character, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I know you love Boone, and you were very mad at John for killing Boone.
Furious.
But I think it's the behaviour that Charlie takes. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, John maybe could have seen Boone's death coming from the covered in blood and in the dream and all of that.
Yeah.
But, like, he didn't actively try and kill Boone. And Charlie's not trying to kill Aaron. Like, he says, I wouldn't hurt him, I'm not trying to hurt him. But it's like, he does set that fire.
This is the thing, is I'm just like, what was his plan?
Yeah.
It's like, Charlie can't baptise Aaron. Echo needs to do that,
Yeah.
right? It's because Echo's the priest.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is he doing? Because it's like, does he think he's going to then kidnap Aaron and then go to Echo and be like, quick, baptise him now?
Exactly.
It
and
just
crucially,
doesn't really make sense.
I think one of the really crucial things to remember as well is that the big villain that everyone in the camp can agree is a villain is the others, right? Us versus them, right?
Yeah.
They're all united against the others. Why? Because they kidnap babies. What does Charlie do? Kidnap a baby.
Yeah. It's really weird. It's really weird. It's that end
Obviously,
scene.
everyone's going to hate him for that.
It's that end scene that I just cannot understand what he thought he was doing, you know?
And I do think it is awful for John to punch him 3 times in the face whilst he's crying. Like, that's not good. In front of everybody as well.
Yeah.
But, like...
I've written this down. I can't remember if this is a direct quote from the show, or if it was just something I wrote down. But I've got, it says, my note, okay, so first of all, my note says Charlie is Catholic #1 guilt machine. I think that was supposed to say #1 Catholic guilt machine. But I've got written down, he has to save the baby because he can't save himself. I'm pretty sure John said that.
Interesting. I don't necessarily remember, but he might well have done.
Because the next note I have is about Saeed's. This is right before he sets the fire. I've got written down, he has to save the baby.
Oh, yes. Yes, John does say that, yes.
Now that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Because that is like, brings a whole new layer of bullshit.
But is
situation.
that what we were supposed to take from everything that's happening on the island? Because I didn't jump to that conclusion.
I did not. I don't think it's about Charlie saving himself. I think it's about Charlie becoming his brother, I think.
But then also, don't forget, Charlie's got this weird masculinity complex, hasn't he? Because remember those shit set of flashbacks in series 1? Where it's like, I have to protect you. Oh, because I'm the man and you're the woman. Like,
but the thing I think is really interesting about the line, he has to save the baby because he can't save himself, is that actually it suddenly drew into perfect comparison Charlie and Jack.
Ooh.
Because Jack wants to fix everyone because he can't fix his father. That's like his whole thing.
Yeah.
And Charlie can't fix his own family, so he has to save the baby. And Jack had to save Boone because he can't save everyone. And it's like, that suddenly put that into huge parallel for me.
That's really...
And I was like, that's something I'd never really considered before. And I think Charlie and Jack are really untapped potential in terms of a duo. Because it's like, they actually have very similar complexes going on. But the difference is that, like, Jack is actually in a position of authority where he does have an obligation to, like, save people and protect people. And Charlie isn't, but he still feels that same need to.
Maybe that's why we respond to this episode differently to episodes like Do No Harm or, like, Jack-centric episodes where he's trying to save people. Also, All the Best Cowboys, arguably, when he's trying to save Charlie and Claire. Because everyone on the island has decided Jack is the leader. Not
Yeah.
only because he has the skill set being a doctor, but also because they've put him in this position. So we as viewers are also coded to go, Jack has the responsibility here, whereas Charlie doesn't.
Charlie doesn't. Charlie's not in a position of power. And it's very similar again to that, like, Boone in the beginning of
Yeah.
series 1. He's always trying to be involved, he's always trying to help, but he's not doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone is, like, not really listening to him.
Yeah, like when he fucking steals the water bottles. What's all
Yeah,
that
and
about?
he's like, someone had to look after it, and it's like this, they
Babe.
have this idea of, like, I want to be helping, and I should be helping and, like, looking after everyone, but they aren't. And I think Charlie especially, like, nobody really takes him seriously.
Yeah.
Because he's, like, the funny guy, and he's, like, silly, and but actually he's got a very serious situation going
Yes.
on almost all the time.
But I will say, one thing that really does piss me off, especially about this episode, but in general, is the writer's treatment of Charlie. Because
Yeah, 100%.
think about The Moth and how great of an episode The Moth,
The Moth is brilliant.
The Moth is a lovely episode, guys. Remember those days? We were dressed as Wario and Waluigi. It was good times.
I forgot we were dressed up for that one.
But it's like, in The Moth, what they do is be like, this is a character who has been kind of hinted at as the comedy relief. Plot twist, he has a really tragic, dark backstory, and it's like, oh
and
my
it's
god.
sort of like Hurley as well, if you look at Numbers.
I was just about to say that, because Numbers makes you go, oh, I had no idea he had all this baggage, he had this past, he had this, and what those episodes do is they take the side character, they put them in the spotlight, we follow them, they have a serious moment, and then they go back to being a side, happy, fun time character. Great. Fine, fun, I enjoy. But everybody hates Hugo and Fire Plus Water. What they do is they spotlight those characters, but they do not give them the seriousness, the gravitas that they did in series 1.
Absolutely.
And they continue to
treat them like comedy relief
treat them like comedy characters, and it pisses me off to no end, because when I was thinking about dreams that we've had in the show, and I was like, okay, how does this compare? I remembered Hurley's dream, and I was like, that dream, first of all, not treated in any way similarly to any of the other dreams in the show. It's never thought of as something that's prophetic or like
symbolic in any way,
No.
even though it basically predicts Jin coming back to the camp.
Yes. But what it does do is give us a really, like, insensitive depiction of, like, a kind of binge eating disorder. It gives us, like, a set of it leads into a set of flashbacks for Hurley, which some of them are serious, but some of them are very, very comic, like when he is arranging the gnomes on the driveway and stuff. And I'm not mad, okay? I find those scenes funny. But
it's like, don't set him up as this character with the serious story to then not treat him as such.
Yeah. And they do a better job of it in Everybody Hates Hugo, I think. Because I really like his monologue towards the end, and the way that they talk about the food, like the money and everything, and I think that's a really good allegory. But like this episode, that fucking flashback where they are in the nappies recording the fucking nappy commercial.
The nappy advert might be the worst flashback scene in all of the show ever.
Horrific. It's just embarrassing. Quite frankly, it's like, okay, as a comedian, I know what it's like to think that you've got a really funny joke, to go on stage and say it, and it bombs, and you feel really awkward and embarrassed, and it's just cringe because it's like you were trying to be funny and it didn't land. That's what the writers do in this scenario, but it's just so much worse because there are so many people involved in the process. It went through so many editing things, and it's like no one thought to go, hey, isn't this embarrassing? Why are they in nappies?
It's so, everything about it is also like, because at the beginning, Charlie is sitting there in the dressing gown holding a china teacup.
Oh, don't forget, a Union Jack dressing gown.
A Union Jack dressing gown, holding a china teacup. It's like, okay, so you know he's British. Yeah. The director says bloody about 6 times.
He goes, tea, like that, to his assistant. Tea me. What? Tea me. What?
It's so, huh? Because also, what is the significance of that? Because it's like, it's like, the thing is...
It's just supposed to be funny and it's not. Sorry, guys.
The thing with the piano, right? So we've jumped around a little bit. But the flashbacks, let's like talk about the flashbacks.
Sure.
So, first of all, they're all aggressively British. There's, like, the fact that the, like, drive shaft to HQ has, like, a massive Union Jack painted on the wall cracks me up.
I know.
It looks like a rejected Austin Powers set, that room. It's, like, the sofa is, like, curved. There is, like, quite cool, like, band posters, like, prints of them on stage on the wall, which is very cool.
I noticed they had a big poster about their America tour.
The Drive Across America
tour. The Drive Across America!
And also they're like in little like AC/DC like style like school uniforms on the poster. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's fun. And also like the Union Jack is also a symbol of Britpop and punk, and like it is used
to be fair
in that kind of music scene.
That was the vibe at the time, but it is really funny coming from Americans.
It's a little bit funny.
But the thing about like the piano is it's like what this episode kind of shows me is that it's like Charlie across the journey of Drive Shaft has put his own like desires and like wants aside in order to keep the band together and to support Liam and to like do things together. And then Charlie, then like when Liam finally decides to get his life together, he basically leaves Charlie completely in the shit after Charlie's like abandoned his own life, put his own life on hold to look after Liam.
Yeah.
And the thing with the piano, I don't like Liam. Because, like, first of all, that's not yours.
Yeah.
Let's write that down. Let's draw a line under that. That piano does not belong to you. You had the Voltron robot.
Yeah.
You got Optimus Prime for Christmas. Charlie got the piano.
Optimus Prime.
I can't just walk into your room and be like, hey, I need money, I'm going to sell your badge maker.
Not even ask. Just take it and sell it.
You just come home one day and I've just, like, sold your clothes.
Yeah.
Because I wanted money. First of all, it's not yours.
I would physically attack you.
Like, Charlie handled that situation far better than I would have.
Yeah. And, like, okay, so he's doing it for a good reason, right? Like, in my memory, he sold it for drug money.
This is the thing. He didn't sell it for drugs.
He didn't sell it for drugs.
So it could be worse. But also, he sold it to leave the country immediately.
Yeah, to buy a plane ticket to go to Australia because his wife was going to leave him. So he's like... I think that's what's happened, right? So his wife kicked him out.
She's going to leave him because he dropped the baby.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're dangerous to be around my daughter.
Yeah.
And it was either she was going to divorce him or it was like, we'll move to Australia, quit the band, go to rehab, get a normal job.
Yeah. And rebuild our sort of family.
And
which they
did successfully.
They did successfully. But also, like, that's exactly what I was saying about, like, the new family, right?
Yeah.
Because Liam has chosen his wife and daughter over his brother.
Over Charlie.
And the band and stuff. And it's like, okay, there are many, that's reducing it massively.
But it is, at the end of the day, the decision that Liam made. And I think the difference is that Charlie has chosen Liam over everything else.
Yeah.
For all of the time before this.
Because they are family.
Because they're family.
So many times he's been like, you know, I want to quit. Or like when that director goes, ditch that loser. Yeah. Whatever his accent is. And he's like, I can't, he's my brother.
Yeah. He wanted to quit the band because of the drugs and the like lifestyle. And Liam said no, and as soon as it's like, what it is from Charlie's perspective, is that it was negatively affecting Charlie and that didn't matter because Liam wanted to carry on, but as soon as it negatively affects Liam, he quits and runs away. And obviously that's, again, reducing it down very dramatically, but from Charlie's perspective, that's what's happening.
Yeah, and don't forget, the flashbacks are always from the character's perspective.
Yes, and also, by moving to Australia, he's not just quitting the band, he's completely removing himself from Charlie's life.
Yeah.
There's no suggestion of, you could come with me.
No.
You know, there's an assumption that they're taking drugs together.
Yeah. Probably Karen, Liam's wife, thinks that Charlie's a bad influence.
Yeah.
How crazy is that when Liam's the one who influenced Charlie to take drugs in the first place?
And it's like, it's such a horrible situation for Charlie to be in, you know? Yeah, that was quite funny. It's just such a horrid situation for Charlie to be in. To then it's like, and also his entire life is the band. His mum is dead. His dad clearly doesn't like him because he's, you know, from the one thing we've seen of him in this dream, at the very least Charlie perceives that they have a bad relationship. Like that, Charlie's been left with nothing.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's all about daddy issues.
At the end of the day, it is, and brother issues. This is the new secret third thing, brother issues.
But also, it's because Liam has become a dad.
Yeah.
Right? And Charlie now thinks he's become a dad. on the island, doesn't
What's
he?
happened is Charlie's gone, oh my god, it's the same thing as what happened with Liam.
Yes.
I'm on drugs and just had a baby. And it's like, that's not your baby.
That's not what.
And no one has been like, Charlie, I love you, but that's not your baby.
Until this episode.
And it's like
when he goes to John, you're not his father, you're not his family, and John goes, neither are you. And that I always latched onto that. From when I remembered this episode, what I remembered was that scene where Charlie's fucking holding the baby by the sea and is like screaming at John saying, you're not his father. And I was always just like, what the fuck has happened? Like, why do you suddenly think that you literally genetically fathered this baby?
It's like, it's like Charlie's the one with amnesia. He's gone like, oh, baby, blonde, blue-eyed baby. Obviously
it's mine.
Obviously it's mine.
We need Island Jeremy
I'm
Kyle.
pregnant and it's yours. You know? Like, you're pregnant and it's mine.
That's what he's saying. She's like, hey, we met 20 days ago. But it's the whole weird kind of like, does Charlie think of John as some kind of romantic rival?
That's the really, truly insane part of the episode, is you're not his... Because it's like, it appears that Charlie is jealous of John interacting with Claire.
Maybe not in a romantic sense, but in a paternal sense towards Aaron.
He's like, don't touch my baby, and it's like, that's not your baby.
The baby is all of ours. He needs to get that through his head.
This is what I said. I was like, did we not listen to Kate? The baby is all of ours. Kate is the dad who stepped up.
Kate in this episode.
She's like, Charlie, go away.
Get away from my girl. Quite literally, Kate and Claire, I'm a Kate and Claire truther because they are so in love and she was protecting her girl. Get away from her. Yes!
It makes me laugh a little bit, that's because it's truly like, Charlie's busy being like, oh my god, John is my romantic rival. Kate's your romantic rival, so jot that down.
You've just been cucked.
I'm pregnant and it's Kate's, you know?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
It's like, who delivered the baby? Let's take a look around.
Yeah. He says that to John, doesn't he? He's like, you weren't there when the baby was born. Who was there?
You didn't. You stood at the back. You stood behind Kate, looking scared. Kate's the one who did the birthing.
Yeah.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He does at one point call John bald wanker, which
I
really
wrote that down too. I wrote down LMAO in all caps afterwards.
Because I'm pretty sure I too have called John bald wanker on many an occasion.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
I think like... So in my memory, I've reduced this episode to just despising it because of the way that Charlie, in my memory, behaved completely out of character. It came out of nowhere, and he was really violent, i.e. setting the fire, and aggressive towards the group, and, you know, kidnapped and took the baby without Claire's consent and all of these things. Watching it again, there was lots that I'd forgotten.
It's less out of character than I remember it being. John is more out of character than Charlie.
Yes. It's less out of character, and Echo, arguably. And also there's a lot of important context in the flashbacks. I often wrote off the flashbacks in this episode as like, we learn nothing new, it's all irrelevant, bye.
Yeah, I mean, because it kind of is in a way, because it's like, we already knew... Like, because in The Moth, Liam says, I missed my daughter's birth because I was busy getting high.
But what we don't know, we do learn important things, like the fact that the one scene where he comes in and he's like, Karen kicked me out because I dropped the baby. That is huge to me because literally like 2 episodes ago, Claire kicked out Charlie on the island because she found out that he was storing drugs. And it's like, of course, this is how Charlie feels about his own addiction because this is what he's seen in his brother's addiction.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like that's crucial information that I completely forgot. And it's like, it kind of contextualizes why he's acting so rashly.
It's something really important, I think, to Charlie's character, how much he compares himself to Liam as well.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like, having an older sibling, you are always compared to them, you know? That's how it is.
You're on thin ice.
And I'm not, you know, if you start taking drugs, I wouldn't start taking drugs. But, like, you know, like, because that's just how it is. You know, you go to school and the teachers are like, oh, well, I taught your older sister, you know. And it's like, that's just how it is. Mm-hmm. So, like, obviously that's immediately happened. In being in the band together, like, Liam's the front man. Charlie obviously always wanted to be the front man. He, like, writes the songs. He wants to sing, but he doesn't get to because Liam does the singing. Mm-hmm. And so it's, like, obviously he's being compared to Liam a lot. Mm-hmm. And, like, you can make an assumption that, like, in terms of, like, press and stuff, they get, like, compared to each other all the time.
I mean, it would be like growing up together as siblings and then starting an adventure together in later life, living together and creating a career out of something like, say, a podcast.
And then all the comments on the podcast are like, isn't her hair crazy? And you're like, well, I'm here too.
Have you not seen my propeller hat? It just propelled when
Haven't
you leant
seen
down.
My hat? So, like, I think it's very important that Charlie compares himself to Liam a lot, you know, to his own construction of his, like, perception of himself. And I think that, like, obviously what he's doing now is comparing himself to Liam really strongly. And, like, that is really negatively affecting the way that he's behaving.
Yeah. 100%. Add that in with a crazy prophetic dream.
Yeah. Also, like, you have to remember, like, he is a Catholic. Mm-hmm. A big part of Catholicism is, like, visions from God. And, like, saints getting, like, visions from, you know,
well, I don't think he thinks of himself as a saint, let's be honest.
But it's like, that's a connection you would draw if you believe, like, that those things have happened to other people. And, like, I don't know how much everyone else knows about, like, John's crazy dreams and, like, all the, like, hallucinations and stuff. I don't think Jack's told anyone that he saw his dad, like, roaming around the island, because he didn't even tell John. He just said, I think I'm going crazy. So it's like, we obviously as readers have more context for...
As viewers,
have more context for, like, the wider implications. But also it's like, what are the wider implications?
Yeah.
This is the thing, is, like, it makes so much more sense to take it as just, like, an episode that Charlie is having, because what did the island want from him? Because also, like, I mean, maybe there's future repercussions of this that I've forgotten, to be fair, but it's like, with, like, John's dreams, it's like there was a lot of follow-through. Whereas in my memory, it's like no follow-through with that.
Yeah.
So maybe next week I'll be like, oh, and this was much more important from Charlie's episode, and I've completely forgotten about it.
Yeah. But it's also, like, thinking about, what did the island want from the... It's hard, I'm trying to think, because it's like, well, it could... Okay, Echo could be right, and it could be that Aaron needed to be baptised, and that would save him somehow. I don't know how. Even Echo, like, when Claire goes to him and is like, what does the baptism do? And it's basically like, just cleanses you from sins.
I'm like, what sins has Aaron committed?
Exactly.
Being a massive baby.
It's huge. He's
so big. It's all I can think. I think also because he's not wearing clothes, so he's always just, like, bundled up in a blanket, and it makes it because you expect him to be much smaller. Yeah. But it's like, that baby is supposed to be about 3 weeks old.
His leg was, like, hanging out.
Huge.
He was, like, he was fully conscious.
He's like, I wouldn't be surprised if he just, like, if there's, can you imagine if it was, like, complete the baptism, they put him there, he just starts walking.
That would have been fucking brilliant.
Hey, I mean, think about this.
Yeah?
Aaron and Moses.
Oh, yes, the brothers.
We're the brothers. Why can't you be more like your brother Moses? We compared that to Echo and Yemi. But, like,
Charlie and Liam
does that, in a way, draw a distinction between Charlie and Liam as well? Because also, I think, like, when Charlie talks to Echo in, like, 23rd Psalm, I think we talked about it in that episode, but obviously now we've got much more context. Like, Charlie says to Echo, like, my brother's the one who got me into the drugs. And Echo obviously is going, like, oh my God. Like, I think to Echo, it's like, this is some vision of how differently like Yemi's life could have been if like if he'd been the one to like kill that guy, or if he'd been drawn into the gangs with Echo. And obviously it's a much more extreme situation, you know. Charlie and Liam, you know, Charlie receiving a piano for Christmas is very different to being forced to kill a man at 13 years old. But like there's something there, I think. There's something to that of like a younger brother, older brother thing that's being drawn in distinction between like Echo and Yemi and Charlie and Liam, but also with Aaron and Moses.
Yeah.
Although obviously Aaron does not have an older brother, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, completely. And perhaps that's why, perhaps Echo has a personal involvement in this as well, and it's why he jumps at the opportunity to try and help Charlie in a way that he thinks makes sense from his, like, you know, understanding of the Bible.
Because also it's like, obviously he regrets buying the Virgin Mary statues and like putting the drugs and like doing all of that, because, you know, I don't think that's like a stretch to be like, I think maybe he regrets getting his brother killed.
Don't forget, like, this is all low-key Echo's fault in the first place. That crazy to think, that scene where he gets the knife and he tastes a bit of the heroin to make sure it's real and goes like 50. That's that same heroin that is on the island right now.
Yeah. That
Charlie is like smashing the Virgin Marys and crumbling up into the sand.
That is really crazy.
Wow. This show is so good.
It is crazy.
Like,
it's so
in an
insane.
episode that makes me so angry, I still have to recognise that this show is so good.
The show is so clever. And like, I think that like, yeah, I really would be interested in Echo's take on the situation. But he doesn't really seem to have a concrete take. Maybe he's just very confused, which, like, real. I think it is also very important that, like, Charlie, at no point does he actually take the drugs.
Yeah.
And I think that really speaks to Charlie's recovery.
Yeah.
Because I think actually, like, destroying the heroin, it's like it goes back to with the moth, where John takes it and says, like, you can ask for it back. Like, he has to, it's not just that he's run out and it's like he has to decide that he wants to not take the drugs anymore. Like, by having all those statues available to him and not taking any drugs there's so much more strength to that than him just not doing any drugs. Because, like, if there's no option, it's like, well, it's either that or just, like, die, I guess. But, like, he hasn't taken any. He's, like, held it in his hands.
Yes,
and he hasn't
absolutely.
taken any.
Absolutely. It's huge.
It's huge for him. And everyone is, like, immediately assuming he's taking it.
Yeah. And, like, you know, don't forget that for years of his life, like, that was quite a while ago when Liam got clean and left.
Yeah, because
so, like,
when we see Megan, she's like probably like 4 years old, right? In the Moth. Birth 2002. So in like,
because 2004
she's 2.
is when he goes to Australia to try and convince Liam to come back to the band. He's like high right there and then, isn't he? You know, and he's like, Liam's going, "You're still using." Then we see the flashback before he gets on the plane where he's fighting with the woman that he's hooked up with for heroin, and then like he takes it on the plane. Like he has spent years of his life leading up to that point, but then also 2 years after even Liam is out of his life, still using drugs. And it's only now that he's felt the strength to not, and that is huge.
Yeah.
That is huge.
And I think a big part of that strength on that journey probably is owed in terms of Charlie's personal motivations to Claire and Aaron.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it gives him a concrete goal to be working towards.
But again, it's
that's
like,
not on Claire.
Yes.
This is the thing.
That's far too intense for what Claire's going through. She's like, I got my own shit to deal with. I just gave birth in the jungle, and also I have amnesia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah.
She's having to deal with becoming a mother that she wasn't prepared for, loads of shit. Okay, thinking about why the island would send Charlie these dreams, if indeed the island did send Charlie these dreams.
Uh-huh.
Could it relate to Aaron being special?
That's what I was gonna say.
Because, you know, the psychic knew that Claire had to raise the baby and that dark forces surrounded it and that her good influence had to be an influence on the baby. Are these dark forces something around the baby right now? And is the island trying to tell Charlie, you need to help as well, you need to prevent these dark forces? And he's gone baptism and he's just jumped to that conclusion.
He's Catholic. But it's also like, yeah, I mean, like, Walt's been taken. Michael's going after Walt. Like...
But are the dark forces as concrete as that? Or is it more of a... Because I feel like... Do you know what I mean? Like, the psychic's like, oh, Claire, you have to raise the baby, so I'm going to put you on a plane that's going to crash. You're putting the baby in more danger than if the dark forces are the others.
No, I don't think... I think, like, because it's like the others believe that they're doing good by taking the children, don't they? Because that's what Goodwin says to Anna Lucia, was like, where are the kids? And he says, like, they're in a better place now or something.
Yeah.
Because they're, like, they're with us.
Yeah.
So, like, that, I think, is a similar... Almost they have similar motivations. Isn't this crazy? Let's think about this, right? Isn't this crazy? Let's get more angry with Charlie. Let's think about this. Remember at the end of series 1, where Danielle takes Aaron because she is having a mental health episode and she has heard the others scheming and believes that if she trades Aaron, she can get her own daughter back. And Charlie calls her, like, pathetic and deranged and says that she's dangerous and shouldn't be allowed around them.
My God. Completely forgot about that.
Rousseau is low-key what we need in this situation. I feel like if Charlie... Imagine a version of this episode where Charlie, like, had that argument with Echo around the trees, stormed off into the, like, jungle, came across Rousseau, told her what was happening. She'd know exactly what to say. I think she would have been a great addition to this episode.
Yeah, she would have. But would it have just complicated matters?
She would have further complicated matters, extremely so.
Because, like, not the good thing, that's the wrong way to phrase it, but, you know, Charlie acts very rashly and dangerously, but he doesn't actually endanger anyone in the group because of his kind of, like, whether it's because of his inexperience or whether it's because it's intentional, like the fire's only meant to be a distraction and he knew that they would put it out or whatever. Rousseau would not have the same either safety measures or lack of expertise. She would actively create a hostage situation, I think.
But to be fair, like, she did, you know, it's a very similar thing of, like, I would never hurt him when they're both...
She did set a fire as well, actually, didn't she?
She set the black smoke.
Or was that the others? Did the others set that?
No, she sets the smoke to try and track the others. She's like...
Oh, yeah.
So I can swap him for my baby.
Yeah.
So, like... I do think it is a similar situation. Obviously, it's a very different situation, but it's also a similar situation.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting, like, Charlie at one point says, this is my test. And, like, that was what really drew the parallel to Deus Ex Machina in for me, because I was like, you know, that was John's test. So it's like, you know, how do we feel about that? Is this Charlie's test, or is he just perceiving it in that way?
If it's a test, I think he failed.
Depends on what the island wanted him to do.
I mean, it depends what the outcome of the test was supposed to be, but I don't think setting the camp on fire and then trying to walk into the ocean with the baby was really a passing grade.
That's a C minus.
Like, it's like you tried really hard, but you will have to go to some school to make up your credits, you know? Like...
It's when you put it all out like that. Like, look, obviously crazy, extreme things happen in this show, right? It's Lost. But come on. Like, I feel like we've not seen something of this kind of caliber before. Not necessarily this extreme. Like, yeah, we've had hugely extreme things. We've had more extreme things than this. But it's like, to have a central character who has been a fan fave, you know, a lovable character, one that we have really liked, to just turn on the camp like that. And, like, you know, go against their collective goal. If they all have one thing, surely it's to protect Aaron, isn't it?
Surely, right? That's what all the extras who wanted to come and like stroke his head when he was first born.
Yeah. I mean, you say that, like, they don't really care that much about Walt being taken, so...
This is true.
Took my son. They took my son.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think this episode would have maybe benefited from the character arc being across 2 episodes. Because I think it's like Charlie is pushed to breaking point of needing to... Like, he's pushed to a breaking point of no one will listen to him and he feels like he's losing it.
Yeah.
And then he is like... Then he sets the fire. But it feels very rushed. It feels a bit like slow down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it would have benefited from a bit more kind of space.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, they managed to fit in subplots.
Yeah.
So let's talk about
Miraculous.
those.
We've had our serious talk now. Let's get into the fun bits.
As a bit of a segue, I will say I'm going to be returning to a lot of things that I said about Charlie in relation to Hurley in a few episodes. So stay tuned for that.
Okay.
Because we've got an episode coming up that I've been looking forward to recording since we began.
Yes.
And I think you know which one I'm talking about.
I do know which one you're talking about.
And I think if you've watched series 2 and you know what's coming, you probably know what episode I'm talking about. It's a very important episode to me. Mm-hmm. But Hurley in this episode is chilling, largely. Also the only other thing I had written down about Charlie is that he was wearing a really camp scarf in one scene that really made me laugh. He was like trying to have a really serious conversation with Liam, and it was like the whole time he was wearing like a purple cravat.
Excellent.
And I was like, what?
So speaking of bold fashion choices,
what is that purple top?
We need to talk about the purple top. The purple top has a narrative in our household, doesn't it? Because I was just always like, this scene between Libby and Hurley is so sweet.
It's really cute.
It's lovely. It's flirty. It's fun. I'm like, oh, aren't they adorable? And we also get a little hint of like, ooh, is there something more going on? Because he's like, do I remember you from somewhere? And she's like, yeah, the plane.
And she's a psychologist.
Hurley was in a psych
Hurley
ward.
was in a psych ward. What could this mean?
Is there a connection there pre-island? But
although, according to her, he stepped on her foot.
Yeah.
But how would that have happened if she was in the tail section of the plane? He was in the front. He was last on.
Maybe he did.
I mean, she gave enough details that she obviously, at the very least, saw him on the plane.
Maybe he might have run through the whole plane.
He might have got on. I don't know where you get on the plane. Do you get on at the back or the front?
Well, also it was last minute, so they might have only had one staircase up, for example.
Yeah, maybe. Okay.
There's a way to justify it, but like there's a hint that there's something more there, and then it's like, why would she lie about it?
Yeah.
You know, interesting, and yeah, it's a fun little scene. I'm like, oh, aren't they lovely?
And I think generally the implication of like, we've got a cute little like romance on the horizon. I think that's really great.
But the top that she wears is so ugly. I've never been able to get past it because I'm like, it's so lovely. Like, you know, what do you think? Oh yeah, you look beautiful. You know, that's a classic kind of setup for a flirty scene in media. But the top is so bad.
It's Y2K chic.
It's awful. Oh God, Also, if I was on that little date with her, I would have to be like, respectfully, we need to change. We need some different fashion options.
Try on this one instead.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's nice also because it's like all the tail section people have been wearing the same clothes for all the 48 days.
Yeah, it's great that she's like, I found this. I can change my clothes, hooray.
The main thing that made me mad about that scene is that she has bald armpits. How were you finding the time? Girl, the others. Like, how were we finding the time to shave our armpits while Anna Lucia was busy digging pits?
Yeah.
And you were busy shaving pits. Like, come on.
That was great.
Come on now.
Can I just say that was excellent?
Thank you.
Game recognises game. That was fantastic.
It's just like, come on now.
Yeah. Obviously completely inaccurate.
Made me mad.
Yeah. As it should. That top, man. It's so ugly.
It's like a running
It's
joke
so
between us, the ugly purple shirt as well. Like, I didn't know that was this episode, but it's like,
Me
whenever I think
neither.
of Libby, I just always think of the ugly purple shirt.
Yeah, it's like, when does Libby get her purple shirt? You know,
It's like,
when does Michael get his
genuinely,
orange shirt?
It comes up so often.
A crazy amount.
A ridiculously large amount. We talk
For
about
a
that purple
very
shirt.
small scene.
Now, the scene before that,
Is this when they're playing cards?
yes. So, okay, so there's a scene. What is it? I'm trying to remember. It's like Sawyer and Kate and Hurley. And he asks Sawyer about Libby. And they're like, ooh. And then Hurley walks away and Kate's like, you are acting like children.
Yeah.
Then they continue to act like children.
Yeah.
What I've written down here is, you have a load you need to drop in, followed by, I hope he dies painfully and slowly.
What the fuck? When were they?
So that's what Sawyer said. No, that quote, that was my thoughts. That wasn't the quote, that second
oh
one.
my god, I was like,
That was
Jesus
something-
Christ, escalated.
That was something Sawyer said. He said, oh, Libby's going to do laundry in the hatch. You should tell her you have a load you need to drop in.
Oh,
And I went,
I hope he
I
did.
hope he dies painfully.
You will begin
and
to
slowly.
cough in 7 days.
I was like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. But do you expect anything less from Sawyer?
I know, but it just... Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. That's a valid reaction. It's a very flirty episode.
Very flirty
Like,
episode.
those two. I was like, fuck me. Get a room. Like, when they're doing his physio, his shirtless physio.
Yeah, and she gets,
She's-
like,
she's like-
really close to him.
She's like slapping his pecs, like, oh, let me stretch your arm muscles out.
You know that scene in Brooklyn Nine-Nine where she's like, where it's like Bunch and Captain Holt, she's like, how do I know you're not wearing a wire? It's like 20 minutes of like...
I forgot about that.
Or like a more normal example is like any rom-com where they're like playing golf and it's like, no, you're doing it wrong, let me show you. It was so...
I was mad.
And then we have an amazing flirty scene also between Ana Lucia and Jack.
Honestly, the fact that we've managed to go almost an hour and a half without mentioning this is beyond me. You listeners must have been out there like, surely the Lost All Caps divas are gonna immediately mention this. It's truly the biggest bombshell of the episode, one of the most exciting things to happen in the show thus far.
Ana Lucia is bisexual.
Ana Lucia is bisexual!
Now let's get something out of the way. I would consider this canonically bisexual. I don't
Me
think
too.
Lost considers this canonically bisexual.
No, but I certainly do.
So, okay, first of all, incredible flirting tactic to immediately be like, so how about that hot girl? She's like
Yeah,
trying to
man.
blow out with him.
Yeah.
She's
This
trying
is
to do
the
like
thing.
locker room talk with him.
This is the thing. It's supposed to be a bit of a like, because she says you're hot to Jack, doesn't
Yeah.
she? She's like, you're hot, she's hot. It's what people do. So it's clearly supposed to be like, oh, Ana Lucia's casually slipped in that she finds Jack attractive.
and also she's
Whatever.
trying to be like, are you and Kate
you-
like
are you
a
single?
thing?
Yeah.
Like,
But to me, it was clearly her going, oh, so you don't mind if I move in?
do you mind?
So we're good if
hit
I
that?
make the
No.
moves.
Okay, great.
Can I hit that?
Kate!
Yeah. That
Truly.
was truly obviously what it was saying to me.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Lost
But
first gay character.
honestly, Lost
Second gay
Lost
character.
second gay character. Let's celebrate. Let's get Chapel on the radio.
Crucially, also Michelle Rodriguez is bisexual.
The actor is indeed bisexual, so
So I think she really she channeled that into the show.
yeah,
I think.
yeah.
She channeled that into the line, in her delivery of that.
Mm-hmm.
That scene is also great, because it's like, once again, where you get all these tarps from.
I know, right?
And then it's like Jack also completely fumbling again. But like his only response in that entire scene is like, pull the tarp tighter or it'll fall. And then she starts flirting with him and he basically has like no other lines in that scene. He kind of just forgets how to talk to her, I think.
Yeah,
He's like, oh, no, now she's flirting with me. I don't know what to say.
yeah. As we have seen many a time with Jack.
Which is hilarious.
He's
who's
scared-
not out of character this episode?
Jack. He's scared of women.
He is scared of women.
He's scared of women.
Especially Anna Lucia. And listen, I don't blame him.
Who wouldn't be scared of Anna Lucia?
Because also, like, look at the women on the island.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You've got Kate, you've got Anna Lucia, you've got Sun. Like, I would be scared of them.
Bad bitches.
But it's so funny.
Yeah. Do you know, I saw a great post the other day that said, like, I'm bisexual, which means I'm attracted to anyone who could defeat me in physical combat.
Truly Jack,
And I was
how Jack
like-
goes about his life.
Yeah. Also me. I mean, I'm not bi, but, you know, pan-romanticism, it checks out.
It's close enough. Yeah, it's hilarious. I love that scene. That scene means a lot to me.
Yeah. Me too. Representation, you know.
Scene I
it's
also
so
love
important.
is like, what was Saeed and that random extra doing?
Yeah, I know. He's like, can you help us with this, Charlie? With what exactly?
Could you just help me lift this piece of metal? And it's like, I thought he was like with Jack or something. And I was like, oh, this would be
No,
relevant. It's like some random unnamed extra.
Literally, we've never seen this man before.
And then it's like, and now let me just snap into action to save this fire.
Yeah.
What?
That's his only scene in this episode as well.
Truly, it's one of those like contractual he's got to be
scene.
in the episode.
Yes.
Truly was how it felt. It's the same with like why like the rest of them it was integrated relatively well. Like Sawyer and Kate like helping Hurley out with like Libby. It's like that's kind of glides into each other okay.
Yeah, we've had a few hints that Hurley's got a bit of a crush on Libby before, haven't we?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, oh, it seems like she likes him back. Isn't this great?
And then it's like, and Saeed is like, and also I am here.
This music is quite depressing.
Oh my god, I forgot about this music. It's quite depressing. Yeah, I mean, the thing about Saeed is also like, Saeed, I would love to know Saeed's take on Charlie's behaviour in this episode, because it's like, maybe the fact that Saeed had to like blow up his forehead with a bullet has maybe if impaired his judgment slightly.
You mean impaired Charlie's judgment?
Yeah.
You think he's got head trauma?
I think maybe getting clonked in the face with a bunch of like slates and then having to get your face lit on fire.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it damaged the part of his brain that told him not to kidnap children. maybe that part of your brain is in the forehead.
Fucking hell, Velvet.
I just think it's worth considering. I genuinely think that's a joke, but like I genuinely think it's contributing to Charlie's sort of no good, horrible, very bad time. Is that he's probably also concussed to all of this, you know?
Yeah, I think that's fair. They're all operating on a base level of concussion, I think. Like, they get hit in the head so many times.
Yeah.
But, like, this is the thing. Charlie, think about how he behaves in that episode, right? I mean, he is so committed to rescuing Aaron that he's willing to have Saeed light his face on fire. So I think when the idea that the baby is in danger and he has to save the baby, Charlie,
he obviously is going to go crazy.
Yes. It does
kind of make sense.
not explain nor justify, but contextualize his actions in this episode. It's why he jumps to such an extreme. Because
also I guess it's like, oh, he's having crazy dreams that are telling him the baby is in danger. What that might mean is the others are going to come and kidnap him again.
something that I noticed in his first dream, he hears the whispers coming from the jungle in the dream. All of my anger with this episode is linked to the kind of lack of clarity around Aaron as well.
Yeah, and like what is important about him.
Yeah.
And also, like, Charlie's masculinity complex is just so dumb. The thing about Charlie's masculinity complex is that, and this is kind of in relation to Anna Lucia and Jack in this episode as well, is that I think if you live in a world where Lost was made in the modern day, live in this world with me. Live in this world
I wish.
where Charlie is trans.
Okay.
And I think because I personally, I don't know if anyone else in the fandom really sees this. I don't know if I'm just like, he's just like me, for real. But like, I feel like Charlie, he has big sort of trans energy in that he's like very short. Mostly it's that. But also it's like, the kind of like, I want to be a real man. suddenly it is so much less annoying if he's trans, you know? Because it's like he wants to be a real man.
But I
He
feel
wants to be like his brother. He wants to be like Jack. He wants to like protect someone. He wants to have like a proper family. If he was trans, he wouldn't be able to biologically have children. So he's then like, I can pretend this is my bit. Like
he wouldn't biologically be able to sire a child.
He wouldn't be able to sire offspring, but now he can because he's got Aaron. I think a world where Charlie is trans is a world where his character arc is far less annoying.
Yeah. And I guess like the kind of, you know, husband, wife and child thing.
Yeah, the nuclear family that he maybe thought he couldn't have.
Yeah. Everything that you're saying makes sense. And I don't mean to generalise here, especially as a cis person, but like, I would, just to sort of say on that, I feel like trans people have a very, like, deep understanding of gender. And, like, obviously, right?
Yeah,
because,
of
like, they've
course.
thought about it a lot more than some cis people have. And, like, I think there's a lot more nuance. And so I would say I wouldn't expect trans men to be like, but I must be the traditional man who is masculine and has to provide for the family. Because it's like, but you know that that's not what being a man means.
Well, this is the thing, is I think yes, but also no, not necessarily. Because I think the thing is, like, my kind of perspective on, like, gender roles generally is that it's, like, on a level, I agree with, like, abolish gender roles and, like, everything is made up anyway. But also, everything we do is so entrenched in the, like, patriarchal heteronormative society we live in. And so part of, like, doing fun things with gender is it's the kind of like figure out what you're doing and do it on purpose, you know? It's like doing something that is perceived as masculine is like fun because you're doing it on purpose in order to feel masculine, not doing it because you're like forced to by society, you know? It's like there's the idea of like if like a cis man has to behave masculinely lest he then be made uncomfortable by being perceived, and obviously this is very reductive, but like by being perceived as not manly enough. Whereas a trans man is performing that masculine gender role on purpose because it's fun and he enjoys it.
Absolutely.
You know?
I completely agree with what you're saying. In the context of Charlie, he doesn't seem to be enjoing it very much.
Well, I mean, obviously
he's not really
not
having
a trans
fun,
character,
is he?
so it doesn't really work in the same way, but I think it could really work.
He's like, feels like he's getting that pressure of if I don't do this, then... Yeah.
But like, I think that like the whole... I do think like often I think it is like whenever in TV shows, whenever there's like a male character who's like, I have to do this or I'm not man enough, I'm always like, oh, come on. But I think that is kind of like, especially with a show like Lost that is very heavily like gendered, it does have a huge influence on all the characters' behaviour.
Yes,
and the writing of the show as well.
Absolutely, and I don't think the show is just putting it out there as an accepted. I think the show is critiquing that standpoint.
Absolutely.
To a certain degree.
Because, like, we look
not
at
enough,
characters... Not
but
enough.
to a certain degree.
But, like, we look at characters like Christian Shepherd. He's, like, essentially says to his 10-year-old son, you're not man enough, you know?
Yeah.
To be a doctor.
And we're not supposed to agree with Christian.
We're not supposed to be like, yes, gotcha, Jack's not man
And we're also
enough.
not supposed to agree with Charlie's behaviour in this episode,
Yeah,
are we?
absolutely. And I think, like, it's one of those things as well where, like, we talk a lot about, like, misogynistic writing in terms of, like, Shannon being given no complexity and, like, Kate being, like, weirdly sort of psychically seductive all the time and, like, Claire not being given enough agency. But it's, like, that misogynistic writing affects the way the men are written as well.
Absolutely it does.
You know? It affects the reasons why Jin behaves so possessively towards Sun in the beginning of the show, and it's affected, like, the way Charlie acts and the way that, like, you know, the things that Sawyer says that are just played off as jokes. Like, that is all comes under the same category as that misogynistic writing, you know? Or patriarchal writing. And it's that, like, it's affecting, it's making it shit for everyone, you know?
And also, crucially, I mean, think about, like, basically every example that you've just listed, it never works out. You know, it's always, like, you know, Claire is like, I have to be a mother, but I don't really know how, and how do you be the perfect mother? You can't, that's not such a thing. That's what the show presents us with.
I think, like, the show, it equally does a good job and a bad job of, like, the way, like, representing the way that, like, experiences, like, influence behavior and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I think in some cases, it does a really good job of, like, considering the context that in which somebody, like, grew up or the background before the show started, and also the experiences they have during the course of the show and how those affect future behaviour. In some instances, it's done really well, and in a lot of instances, however, it is done for the purposes of the plot of one episode, and they're never done again. And I think this is one of those cases, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, remember, Charlie's got this whole situation, and I'm like, oh shit, Charlie's whole situation. And then it's like, in 2 episodes' time, he'll just be like, oh,
cracking
what
jokes.
situation?
Yeah. It makes you sort of reminisce about series 1, which is crazy, because series 2 is my favourite season of the show. I love it. I love series 2. Don't love this episode. It's a bit of a blip, like the horse one. But it's like,
what Katie's better than this?
I feel like okay, roll with me on this one.
Okay.
Season 1 is when they treat the characters with the most respect and treat them the best and really focus on the characters.
Interesting.
Series 2 is where they really focus on the mythology, and they expand the universe of the island and the show and what exists in that. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I guess I can agree with that. I think, like, I think series 1 very much focuses on the like mythology and the situation of the island as well.
Yeah. And series 2 also focuses on characters, right? We've had things like the 23rd Psalm and Collision.
Yeah.
Huge character-driven episodes.
Maybe in the sense of it's about meeting the characters. Because also those 2 ones that you just, referenced are new characters. Maybe what it is that upon meeting a character for the first time, the writers are like, their context and their backstory is the most important when we first meet them.
And the most well-handled.
The most carefully, cleverly written. And then the more it goes on, the less carefully they're laying those things out.
I think that's right. And I think it's partially the viewer as well, because it's like, oh my god, Sun learned to speak English because she was going to run away from her husband.
Yeah.
Whoa! And then it's like every other flashback for her, it's like, well, we already know that. Do something new.
And they have to introduce something new with each flashback, rather than like, let's continue to unpack this thing.
Yeah.
It's like, let's talk about now some new thing.
Yeah. Because we've seen that already. But sometimes you need it unpacking more, and sometimes, like, it's the context for what's happening on the island. Do you know what I mean? It's like, we've talked about how sometimes it seems like the character is remembering these things at this point in time. But it's like, the character in 2004 has experienced loads of shit that we haven't seen yet. Why is it only at this point in time they think about this specific year of their life?
Yeah.
And not the rest of the time?
And it's like, at what time are we learning it because it's relevant for us to know, but at what times are the characters actually thinking about those things?
Yeah.
Because that's also very different, I think. Like, in a lot of cases, the character is thinking about that thing that happened to them in that episode. But I think sometimes they just completely aren't, It's like, is Jack always thinking about his divorce, or is he always thinking about his wedding? Or does it differ? Or does it matter,
Yeah. And was he thinking about his wedding when he was trying to save Boone's life?
Probably not. Or, like, in, like, The Greater Good, was Saeed thinking about that
The Greater Good is an excellent example, because this
that
happened
really, the on-island plot and the off-island plot
1 month ago.
have bear no connection to each other, really. Because it's like, this just happened, but the reason why we see that is because it's important for us to know the context of how Saeed came to be on the island and on the plane.
Yeah.
Not really because it's important for us to know that of like how he behaves on the island. Like that doesn't really affect how he's acting in the on-island plot.
No.
But it affects how we see Said as a character.
But then...
and also it's just a great story.
It's a great flashback story, but I think that's what pisses me off about the episode, because A, there's not a huge amount of relevance to what's happening on island, and B, it's so easy to kind of forget that in the context of everything that's happening. Like, think about what the Said's on-island journey. He had all that cool shit with Rousseau at the start, and then it's like he's had his romance with Shannon, and now he's getting back in, and like, you know, him building the signal towers, and him building, like, it's so easy to forget that he, like, literally weeks ago, recently, he watched his friend die because of him.
And it's like that, and that's the thing, is that it's important for us to know that, but really...
But we forget. I forget.
It's so easy to forget that episode in Said's wider arc.
Yes.
I think that happens a lot, where there's just, that connection just isn't quite drawn. Anyway, we need to wrap up because my throat's really sore.
We do. I love how we were like, let's do the fun stuff now, and then we got into gender, we got into...
Anyway, yeah, I personally think it's funny to consider a world where Charlie's trans and actually he's not a heroin addict, he's just sneaking off to take testosterone because he doesn't want anyone to know. This is the world I live in sometimes. I'm like, wouldn't that be funny? The idea of like Jack and like Charlie being in the like cave together, and Jack's like, listen, I am a doctor. Like, we learned about you guys in university.
I'm an ally. He's like, please stop. Jack, okay.
What are your pronouns?
Jack, we don't need to do this, okay? T him.
I won't tell anyone.
What? Couple random things. One, Charlie's mum called him special in that dream sequence flashback when he was a little boy. Interesting thing to remember. Obviously, it's an off-island one, so is it more relevant? Is it less relevant? Who knows?
I also noticed a little interesting thing about that first dream.
Yeah.
When Charlie is then on the island playing the piano, he has the Fate tape on his hand again.
Yes, and do you know how I noticed that? Our DVD player subtitled that Destino!
Destino.
I was
so
like,
that's very,
do we need that subtitled? Is his knuckles?
The connection of that to like him taking off that tape when he got kidnapped to trying to save Claire and Aaron. Is it like connected to, is it just an indicator that it's not really happening because we know that tape's not on his hands anymore?
Oh my god. Fate.
Coincidence
and fate.
Is it supposed to be, is it like, this is important, or this is a surprise tool that will help us later?
Mm-hmm. Is it a surprise tool that will help us later?
I don't know.
And also, doesn't he change it from fate to late?
He does.
But it says fate in the dream.
It says fate when he gets on the plane, and it says fate in the dream.
It says fate in the dream. Because Destino.
Late does not translate as Destino.
What's late? Do you know?
Early is Temprano, I can't remember what late is.
Disgraceful.
That might be completely incorrect. I'm pretty sure that's right.
So that's interesting as well when you're thinking about what is the dream supposed to signify?
Yeah.
Or is it supposed to signify anything? Is it fate? Is it coincidence?
Yeah. Or also,
Diva, what?
Is that just supposed to be us going, hang on a second, didn't he get rid of those? And then we know it's like a dream? Like,
yeah. I don't think so. I think that's definitely put there on purpose.
Because also we know that one's a dream because he's playing a piano in the ocean.
And also Liam transformed from like a baby to a grown adult man in a nappy, didn't he?
Which is then obviously
because of
advert.
The advert. Also fun that they have two irrelevant band members just like Oasis.
Yeah.
They really are similar.
One of them had like a crazy chest tattoo.
Yeah,
I was like, who's this guy? I want an episode about this guy.
Yeah, they clearly, I know exactly what happened there. They put out an extra call out for anyone who looks like they could be in a rock band. And that guy sent in his, headshot, topless headshot or whatever.
They were like,
chest tattoo.
Put him in an nappy. And he was like, what show is this? This show's about plane crash.
Don't you think, as well, Echo looked so cool in those burnt trees.
Oh my god, yes.
He looked so cool. I feel like everything Echo does is cool. And like, we've talked a lot about how beautiful the men of Lost are. I feel like we've not talked about his beauty enough. Echo. He's a very handsome man.
I've got one of my friends, she's watching Lost for the first time alongside the podcast being released. and like a couple of them are like together, but this friend keeps apparently turning to the other friend and going like, is there a Mrs. Echo? And the other one knew before the 23rd Psalm and kept being, I can't tell her she's a priest. I can't tell her he's a priest.
It's like,
is there a Mrs. Echo? I need to know.
Is there a Mrs. Echo? I love that. I love, is there a Mrs. Echo? I also love the notion that your friend is like, he's a priest. That's the only thing standing in our way.
The only thing
That's
stopping
why it
us.
can't work. Oh.
He's a priest. And it was also like, they knew he was a priest, but hadn't watched the 23rd Psalm. So I was like, it's way more complicated than he's a priest. Like, I was then told this in advance of watching the 23rd Psalm, and I was like, it's so much more than he's a priest. It's like, so...
Just you wait.
You don't even understand.
It's like both of them were shocked.
There's so much to it.
Incredible. And yeah, I mean, just sort of, I feel like we touched on the baptism. But something that I did want to mention is like, so she's asking like what a baptism is, and he says it's like a cleansing of all previous sins.
Yeah.
Now, I would argue Claire has never sinned a day in her life. She's my perfect princess.
Yeah,
and she's
I was
never done
like,
anything
Claire
wrong.
has not committed.
And I
any
genuinely
sins.
don't think she has, but it's an interesting notion when you think
I guess
about...
you'd have a baby outside of marriage. That's...
Well, okay, that's
kind
a
of a
very
big-
sort of traditional view
Well,
of
it's a
sin.
big Catholicism crime, isn't it?
But my point is tabula rasa.
Yeah.
The blank slate on the island, we all get a new life here. Interesting to think of her maybe getting a new life from this point forwards. Like, would this possibly be a turning point for Claire to be like, I've been baptised,
Does she need any more fresh start? She got in a plane crash, then she had amnesia, now she's being baptised.
Every 2 weeks she's got to have a fresh
She
start.
needs a reset.
Yeah.
Also, I do think that's then interesting in the sense of, like, I think Echo, like, he used seawater to do the baptism. He woke up in the water, like, in
Ooh, like
the
that.
plane crash.
The
They're
water
all,
on
like-
the island that's like nourishing them. What does the island mean in terms of religious significance?
And then we've got, like, also the idea of, like, Christian leading Jack to the water.
Yes.
Like, it's important.
I like all of that. That's really fun. And shall we end it there?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. Thank you all very much for listening.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Get ready for a very exciting 2026.
We never even addressed the fact that I'm wearing the propeller hat. We, like, mentioned it once. I'm wearing the propeller hat because I said that I couldn't wear it for the 23rd Psalm because it was too serious.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd wear it for this equally
And then we got
serious
so
episode.
serious today. Like, I felt like in your mind, and possibly my mind before I watched the episode, this would be more like what Kate did, where I would just be ranting about
I thought
how
it'd be
much I
more
hate
like
it.
when we did Hearts and Minds and we really kind of tried to keep it light, but actually we ended up having some really interesting stuff to say. But, like,
Yeah.
in my head what was going to happen is you were going to go on, like, a big angry tirade and I was just going to be spinning the, like, propeller
Yeah.
the whole time. But that kind of didn't happen. So I just imagine, go back and, like, reassess your opinions on the whole episode knowing that the whole time I'm wearing a propeller hat.
It's important context.
It is important context.
And, you know, you've kind of become what you sought to destroy. You've worn it for a serious episode.
I have, accidentally.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear all of your thoughts on this episode because, like, it's one that has stuck out to me as, like, one of my least favourites across the whole show. Like, I really harboured a lot of resentment for this episode. And, like, I do still think it's bad. However, you know, I feel like I've watched it with a bit more of a critical eye this time. And, like, I'm less angry and I'm more intrigued, shall we say.
Yeah. I think...
I'm not angry, I'm disappointed.
I'm not angry, I'm intrigued.
I'm
Can you imagine if
intrigued.
that's what, like, head teachers said to children? I'm
Yeah.
intrigued. I think, like, I agree. I think it felt less out of nowhere this time around than it did. But I know this is a very contested episode. And I know that Charlie actually appears to be a bit of a sort of polarizing. Like, I think some people think he's really annoying and awful and they hate him. What I don't like about this episode is that I really like Charlie, but I find it quite difficult to, like, not like support, but I find it difficult to kind of integrate his actions in this episode into my perception of him as a whole character, like across the rest of the show.
I agree.
It's not just what we've seen already, but what we see in the future.
I agree. It's not that it's necessarily out of nowhere or out of character. It's that this arc for him, shall we say, this episode mainly, but in the few episodes leading up to this, feels really at odds with him in series 1 and him in the later series.
Yeah, it's kind of like a bubble on its own. It's like,
Yeah.
well, wasn't that crazy? Anyway, let's carry on being the same as before.
Yeah, which is really weird when you try and rationalise this as Charlie's big test and his
Yeah.
big island sending him a message, you know, like this is the swelling point, this is the, you know, apex of his character arc, and it's like, what? No, this feels like it's a weird random tangent when the writers ran out of ideas.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's what upsets me. But, like, I think it's a really interesting episode to discuss on its own. And I think, like, if you're discussing Charlie's character in isolation from the rest of the show, it's really interesting. But I think in terms of the larger show as a whole, it's a weird one.
It's a
And
weird
it's a difficult one to assimilate into the rest of the show.
And as you say, Charlie's a likeable, lovable, comic relief character. It's hard to like him in this episode. You know?
Very much.
Very hard to like him. And I think
is difficult.
the camp survivors are coming up against that as well. You know, like, it seems like everyone's against him now. You know, Locke's beating him up.
Yeah.
And Claire is slapping him. That was great, though.
That was good.
Again, Claire, so justified for everything she does in this
100%.
episode.
I would have killed him. You know, if he'd tried to take my baby like 3 times, I would have like hit him over the head with that guitar.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been great. Take away the one thing he loves.
And smash it over his head.
Yeah.
Like, I think
That
if
would be
anything,
truly vindictive.
Claire should have gotten to like tear him apart with her bare hands, you know?
I feel like if it was Kate that this was happening to, you know how she's a bit more calculated and a bit more...
Vengeful.
Yeah, I was going to say mean, but vengeful is better. Vengeful. She would have done that.
Yeah.
But instead she's just Claire's bodyguard / girlfriend.
What is a girlfriend if not getting rid of weird guys for you?
Mm-hmm. Where's our Claire, Kate and Lucia love triangle?
Oh my god, don't even talk to me, that would be so good.
And on that note, let's leave you listeners to go and imagine that.
To go and think about that.
Think about that. Send us your fanfic of that love triangle. No, genuinely, send us your thoughts on this episode. I'm really intrigued to hear how people feel about it. So comment below on Spotify, on YouTube. You can follow us on all the social medias. Drop us a DM if you fancy it.
Let us know what you thought.
Yeah, you can follow me as well at Ariel Hebditch on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Come and see our live show.
Come and see the live show. All the information for that will be on our like social media. It will be in the description of this video.
The long con next week. Oh boy.
See you then.